what are you doing here? Like, why are you here?
Why are you here? Like, what? What is the goal?
What is the point?
There's no answer.
There's no answer. And I think that that's what we're meant to believe. The food that we eat is to nourish the pranamaya kosha.
Interesting.
You know, and so I think about Annamaya kosha, we're eating just to sustain, just to like make sure that we.
I ran into somebody I went to theater school with on a commercial that I was in Detroit last week. And I hadn't seen him since college. But it was like one of those things where like, I'm not thinking about him.
Yeah.
Day to day. And then I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Now I remember you.
Yeah. I sometimes run into people from my high school at things.
Here or in Texas?
Here.
Interesting.
But I went to a performing arts high school. So like I have a lot of people who live here.
Was it like a chorus line?
My theater department wasn't musical. We weren't musical. It was like straight theater.
Got it.
There was a musical theater like section and some people, but it was like, it wasn't, we were a straight theater. So it was like, we were serious. So we weren't like, yeah, there were some people who did musicals.
Yeah,
but
my BA is theater, and like there were musicals like once a year in college, but it was a straight theater program.
And I mean, there's like a dance department and a music department, and so like we did a musical. The whole school did a musical, and so we're like, you know, there's like dancers and musician, like people from the music department, like the vocal department, that are like, you know, overlapping. So it's like, you know, people that are singers that also can act, and people that are dancers that are also interested in acting, and then the actors who can also sing it. But like the theater department, we were doing like straight plays for the most part.
Wow, that's really cool. Such a young age.
Pretty small school.
Well, you know what? I think that this is just leading us beautifully into the season.
Wow, how do we do that?
We're magic.
Wow.
Oh, it's magic. You know.
Wow. So I was trying to segue into a Pippin song, but we've got magic to do just for you. We've got miracle place.
She says she didn't do the musical theater program.
No, I didn't. My voice. You know how I feel about my voice.
Have a beautiful voice.
I'm trying to develop a more positive relationship with my voice. Because I actually think that I have an okay voice. Yeah. But for so long, I've told myself that I couldn't sing.
Who told you that?
I think when I was in middle school, somebody told me I couldn't sing.
Sorry for laughing.
John, why would you laugh at that?
Because I was expecting to hear something different, and that's just like a lifelong of, you know, doubting yourself.
No, because it was so sincere, because he thought I was going to probably say something funny, and it was like so earnest. I was like, no, I think like I was damaged when I was very young.
That's what it is. I was laughing from the real trauma that it was an awkward laugh.
Yeah. It's like some real trauma, because, you know, I do think that those things will stay with you, especially when you're a kid and you're so impressionable. That's why I really try to be really nice to kids. Yeah. You know?
Anyways, great segue. This is all all part of it, because we're talking about ego, we're talking about self, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about shining your light, we're talking about self-confidence.
We're talking about Leo season.
Leo season!
In the house.
Whoop, whoop.
Courtney's a Leo sun. You know this.
Hi, I am the resident Leo.
She's the resident Leo. We all have one. And I'm happy that you're ours.
Yeah. I'm happy to be ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm a good representative.
You are. You're great, Leo.
Because there are some
real annoying Leos.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, there are some shit Leos out there.
There are.
I'm sorry to say.
Let's think about it.
I'm really sorry to say, but there are some fucking annoying ass Leos out there.
Most of them are men.
It's true.
Just to be real, don't come at me, men, but I do think it shows itself differently. I know that we're talking about the binary right now, but
We always want to be fair when we start to talk in ways that maybe aren't as inclusive. We want to just acknowledge that we are, and also, we say it when we say it, also we say it when we say it.
that's right. That's right.
And sometimes,
Sometimes it's rough.
it'd be rough. But no, I think I am a pretty good Leo.
Yes. And let's talk about what is Leo, Courtney? How would you define Leo? Well, it's your season.
Hold on. Before we get into the Leo, I think that the phone might be ringing.
Oh. I'll pick it up.
Get it, girl.
Hello? Uh-huh. Hey, Court.
Huh?
The universe called.
Oh, go ahead.
They said...
Oh, what'd they say? I'm sorry. What did they say?
Hold on. They said, all right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Yeah!
Thank you.
That is so good! That was so good!
Have you seen Sunset Boulevard?
I have seen Sunset Boulevard. A really old movie. I think I was assigned to watch it when I was in college. It's been a long time though. Like a Sunset Boulevard, Chinatown. Like it was like one of those like we had to watch. Like oh, so good.
Which I do feel like that kind of gets us into the shadow of Leo a little bit. It's such a complicated film because it's also about this aging actress, who was once the star and shining and kind of living off of her beauty and kind of how she deals with that breakdown of it all, from my understanding. Wouldn't you say?
Oh, totally. Yeah.
It's doing really well on Broadway right now.
Ooh.
Because isn't what's her name doing Sunset Boulevard on Broadway?
I don't know.
You know the girl, the Pussycat Doll.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she just
That's
won
right.
the Tony.
Oh my God.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't you? And now she's apparently Tony
And
Award
she's
winning.
playing
Yes.
whatever her name is.
Yeah.
That's cool. Although I feel like she's still so young and hot.
I know. But apparently she's like
Old enough.
Old enough, I guess. Isn't that fucking crazy?
I was rereading Streetcar Named Desire, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I could pull a monologue from Blanche. I was like, am I a Blanche? And it says in the stage directions that Blanche is 30.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh,
Oh
I'm not
my
Blanche.
God.
Because she's like supposed to be like an old maid.
No,
you know?
I literally just was, before you said that, I was going to say, oh, you're too young to be Blanche. I was about to say that. That was going to come out of my mouth. And then you said she was 30. And I was like, what? But also you have to remember that like.
The time.
Like people were older back then.
No, women only. The men were actually older. In the Hitchcock film, the Cary Grant, his mother was only, in reality, was only 2 years older than him.
Fucking gross.
I guess it just depends on who you cast as Stella, you know?
Yeah, people did die young then, though.
Yeah,
the life expectancy wasn't as...
Yeah, they weren't eating kale and drinking water.
Yeah, and they were, like, drinking martinis at 8 a.m.
Smoking.
Yeah, so, like, they were dying at, like, 58.
Yeah.
So, like, of course she was an old maid at 30.
That's right. So maybe a modern day Streetcar, I can play Blanche still.
Yeah, for sure.
This is all about me. Anyway, the reason why I thought I'm ready for my close-up is, since it is Leo season, when the sun is in a certain sign, we can all kind of jam out with what that means for us. Overall. And I do think Leo season is the time to feel yourself a little bit.
I agree.
And let yourself shine and let yourself be seen.
Yeah.
Be ready to be seen.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Leo, I mean, the sun is at home in Leo.
Look at her. She's like, everything's right in the world. So tell us, what do you think of when you think about Leo?
I mean, I think of the sun. Mm-hmm. So I do think of everything that kind of goes along with that. So like bright, warmth, illumination.
It's fixed.
Well, I do think of
fire.
fixed. Yeah, fixed fire. Yeah, fixed fire.
Yeah, fixed meaning like they are
Ain't moving.
set.
Yeah, it ain't moving. Like everything is revolving around the sun in our solar system.
Everything's revolving around her. Is what she's trying
Everything
to
is
say.
revolving around the Leo.
I will say this, like a Leo also really takes care of their people. I think about like their pride, like a lion's, pride. Is that what you call it instead of a pack? And it's like they like look over their pack and they want everybody good, and then they want to just nap and enjoy the sun.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
kind of what I think about.
I think so too. Because I think that a lion feels comfortable in the warmth of the sun. So being able to just like luxuriate in the warmth of the sun. So there is that comfort in napping or in resting. Enjoyment, yeah. And when I think about being fixed, it does not only show itself in like a stubbornness, but in an ability to take up space.
Yeah, I think about a Leo as somebody who's pretty sure of themselves. Which I like. I like that kind of energy. I'm looking for that. I'm like, can somebody be sure about something? It's kind of comforting to have somebody who's like, I take up space. I know what's going on. This is what it is. That's cool.
And I would say that to expound upon what you were mentioning just moments ago about this attention to their pride, they're not just taking up space for themselves, but also for the people that they care about. So there's a loyalty factor
Heart-centered.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to speak up for not only myself, but for the people around me.
Yeah, the loyalty is huge, which is nice. It's nice to count on something. Look at us singing the praises.
Well, we love it, Leo. I mean, there's of course a shadow of every sign, and so yeah, the shadow of a Leo is, we love to talk about the shadow of the Leo as being someone who's like egotistical and narcissistic, and only cares about themselves, and blah blah blah. And I think that absolutely can exist, and also.
There's so many bright qualities to Leo to love. And so let's set the stage a little bit. So officially the sun went into Leo yesterday.
I think that's right.
And then now the new moon is today. It's a new moon in Leo, the 24th. Also, what else is going on?
Well, we're still retrograde. Mercury is still retrograde. So Mercury stationed retrograde in the sign of Leo. I believe July 17th.
Yeah.
And it will be there until August 11th. So we are kind of like right in the middle. Like we're in it.
We're in it. So Mercury, just to remind us, is the planet of communication and, technology and all those things. So we're thinking about what does it mean to have a Mercury in Leo?
To communicate like a Leo, to express like a Leo, to think like a Leo. My Mercury is in Leo. Yeah. And I think it's just all those qualities that we're talking about of Leo, of like there being a dramatic flair, right? So there being a dramatic flair in the way that we communicate with others, there being an explosiveness in the way that we think, there being a brightness in that, but also we can think about in Mercury retrograde, or Mercury in general, but the way that, especially with retrograde, we're talking about this retrograde in how things might be stalled or thwarted, or
you have to do it twice.
Right. Reviewing how like travel or tech in the sign of Leo, there might be just a little more dramatics around it.
Oh,
yeah.
So as things kind of get shaken up, you're saying maybe there's a little bit more tears.
There's a little more tears, or just a little more fireworks.
A little more responsive.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think that maybe this might be a time, because the sun is in Leo, Mercury is retrograde in Leo. It might be a time that we actually kind of look at the way in which we're showing ourselves and the way in which we're we're allowing ourselves to be seen is kind of also why I chose that phone message. So it's like, I don't know. It's like maybe not, I would say most astrologers are like, don't change your image, don't cut your hair, don't whatever. But maybe you're like rethinking something about your image, whether it is in the physical sense or maybe it's the way in which we're presenting or sharing information.
That's kind of interesting that you say that because, just recently Uranus also moved into Gemini. And I feel like that's a lot of how, a lot of astrologers are talking about that affecting AI and, images and like the way that we take in images and the way that we, take in information because Gemini Mercury, right? It's that information and it's, it's ideas and it's images. And so I think that's so interesting that you are speaking to that because I think the two can be connected in some way of just like, okay, so what's real, what's true? And maybe I need to get closer to my truth and what's real for me so that I can be really clear about how I want to express myself and what my truth is. And so like if I'm out putting information like about myself, maybe I want to be as clear about that as possible in these times. I don't want to add to the confusion.
Please don't.
That's already happening.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I want to add to the clarity and not the confusion.
Be part of the solution.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. And then, so we have a Leo moon. Leo is the self, right? And the moon is our inner life. So a Leo moon helps us maybe shine a light on our inner life. Again, so like you said, it's a time to really maybe review and think about internally, like what's happening internally or how we want to show up from the inside out. Or how we want to share ourselves from the inside out. Yeah, and we had kind of talked about this before when we were talking about like what is Leo season? What is like the essence of all of that? And I think that at the end of the day, it all comes down to rather than us like going out and going after things like that, going hard towards things energy. I think Leo energy is actually being super clear about your own strength, power, beauty, attractiveness and letting things come towards you. I sort of think I'm just coming up with this now, but I'm like an Aries is more like charging ahead, fire energy, going after what you want. And I think Leo is kind of like, I am here.
Well, again, we're talking about the Leo being the sun and the things circulating around the sun. It moves around you. Like let it gravitate towards you.
It's a big dick energy.
It really is. Let it gravitate towards you. This is our second episode in a row talking about big dick energy.
I think about it all the time. I mean, we don't have to say dick. We could say
big
pussy.
big clit energy. BCE.
We could say whatever we want.
Oh my God. This is going to offend somebody, I'm sure.
Big dick energy. It's like allowing things to come to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go after. You don't have to chase because things are coming towards you because you're calling them towards you. The things that you clearly want.
Right. Well, you're the sun, so it's literally circulating around you, right? Leo is the sun, so everything is gravitating towards you. But this is something that you were talking about earlier, which about the shadow of Leo is it just being so concerned about what we look like on the outside. But this Leo sun, Leo moon is, I think, an opportunity for the Leo to really show what their inner light, like their inner light and inner life, right? And the beauty inside and not be so concerned because it's like, I know it's so cliche, but it's like when you talk about like someone being so beautiful inside that it makes you beautiful outside. And I think that that's kind of what we're speaking to here is that like you're so charming, you're so, wise, you're so
loving.
Honest, you're so loving, you're so like genuine, like all of that is internal is what makes you like glow and shine.
Which is also loops us back to Sunset Boulevard.
It Yes, loop us back to Sunset
You know,
Boulevard.
because if only she was able to tap into
yes,
that even though she's older, she has all this amazing experience as an actor and wisdom, you know? And at the end of the day, she just wants people to love her.
and I think that is actually the perfect transition into our teaching,
I think so too.
which is really about penetrating the layers. Because if we stop at the outer layer, we're missing the point, and we're missing all of the like goodness and richness that the rest of our vessel has to offer.
Yeah.
And not even just the vessel, but the spirit,
The soul, the heart, the layers
of us, right?
Because we contain multitudes.
we do.
I love this because I just taught this week. Not on purpose. I just was thinking about it. So here we are, everybody. We're going to get into kind of our main teaching. Do you want to start?
Yeah. So the teaching of the week is the Koshas. We'll talk about the Koshas. The Koshas, I believe, show up in the Upanishads. That's where I read. The Taittiriya Upanishads is where the Koshas show up. The Koshas translates to mean sheaths or layers. They're 5 interconnected energetic bodies that veil the true self, Atman. These koshas are a framework for understanding the multidimensional nature of human experience, ranging from the physical body to the spiritual core. The journey of yoga involves exploring and understanding these layers to ultimately realize one's true potential.
Right. I've heard a few different analogies for the koshas. One of them is, you know, those like Russian nesting dolls.
Yes.
So you can think of these layers going from the outermost layer inward to the 5 layers going into the deepest part of us. And as we go in deeper, we get in closer and closer to kind of what's at the spiritual center.
So usually it's taught from gross to subtle, right? Because, you know, we start from what is most tangible. Just because we can feel it, we can touch it, we know it, right? It's the most familiar, which is our body, our Annamaya Kosha,
Yeah,
right?
which is like translated to the food body.
The food
which
body.
I like. It's like food made this body.
yeah.
You know?
It really is like the physical body. So it's like our bones, our muscles. It is the most dense skin, tangible layer. Yeah, organs. And from there, we start to move more inward.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The next layer would be the pranamaya kosha, which is our energetic body, our pranic body, and this embodies our life force. So I think about prana, chi, energy. So it's all about the energy that flows through our body. When I think about this, I really do think about it as the breath, pranayama, a lot, because noticing the breath or the way the breath is moving through the body can kind of give us an idea of what's going on with our energy.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah.
And also, just side note, when I teach yoga nidra, which we've done a little like light practice of yoga nidra on here, yoga nidra is directly related to the koshas.
Love that.
Like you hit, you know, you go through the layers of consciousness through the body, then you follow this path.
Yeah.
It was taught in my training like that.
And I like to think like, because, you know, we can tend to each one. And I think so many of us just think about the Annamaya Kosha and like, of course, like thinking about just, you know, the food that we eat, just eating food. But, you know, I think the food that we eat is to nourish the pranamaya kosha.
Interesting.
You know? And so I think about Annamaya Kosha, we're eating just to sustain, just to like make sure that we live, right? But when we get more nuanced in how we eat, right? And we think about nourishing the energy body, that's when we start to think about the pranamaya kosha in our eating, right? So like what makes me kind of feel good? Like, oh, I know that like dairy doesn't make me feel great energetically. Or when I drink wine, that's just how I feel energetically, or so and so on.
If I eat a bagel with cream cheese, I want to take a nap.
Right. So we get more nuanced in our eating to nourish the body with the pranamaya kosha. With annamaya kosha, you can think about like working out and stuff like that. But pranamaya kosha, you get into like yoga practices or
Breath
work, absolutely, pranayama or acupuncture or certain things like that. So just thinking about different ways that we can specifically focus on attending to each of these koshas.
Yeah.
Right?
And how they inform each other.
Yes.
Yeah. And I would also say, like, just as we're touching on this, I mean, we're talking about this philosophical idea that I think is a very tangible thing. A lot of our listeners are yoga teachers, you know, or yoga practitioners. So just to offer ideas, you know, perhaps as you're teaching a class for inspiration on this season, you might teach a class on the koshas, and maybe you go through all the layers, or maybe you focus on one of the layers.
Yeah.
And how to get there. I don't know. Just as an idea of like the way that we can make these teachings really accessible, tangible, and alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So once we move through the pranamaya kosha, we get to the manomaya kosha, which is the mind or the mental sheath. This is our mind, our thoughts, some would even say emotions or sensory perceptions. So it's like the emotional mental landscape of the individual. Yeah. And a way that I like to think about developing a relationship with this particular kosha is meditation, but also therapy, you know, but different ways that I am like really attending to my mental hygiene. You know, so again, meditation is a really great way for me to harness the mind and work on the focus of the mind. But using therapy is a way for me to keep my mind from focusing and harboring on negativity, and like finding different ways to problem solve.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, what I'm hearing you say is that it helps you to become more aware of what your thoughts are so that you can address them.
Absolutely.
Another way to do this, if you are not into sitting and meditating, you might be able to do that in the context of a class, but I know that sometimes for some people that's not as accessible. I also think journaling is really helpful, and allow yourself to free write. And once you start to get your thoughts out on paper and you look at them, it kind of does really shift your thinking, because all of a sudden it's there and it's looking back at you, and it's interesting, not in a way where it's like we have to judge ourselves for being negative, but it might be like, wow, I'm having some negative thoughts.
Yeah.
In Buddhism, there's a few different techniques. I teach Buddhist meditation, and one of them is called changing the peg. You know that one? So it's like this idea that, you know, on like the wheel of a wagon, if let's say there's a bad rotting spoke, like a peg that's rotted out, you don't have to throw away the whole wheel. You could just change the peg. You could take that bad rotted one out and replace it. And as you do that with your thinking, so you can go like, oh, if I'm being, what's her name in Sunset Boulevard, like I'm old and wrinkly, I can be like, I have a lot of wisdom and I've had a full life. And you switch it out. It's not like spiritual bypassing. It's just shifting your thinking.
It's like affirmations almost.
Yeah.
Like using affirmations to help change the narrative.
Yeah. Or, you know, in Artist's Way, there's a whole chapter about jealousy. And it's like, oh, if jealousy's coming up, that's super real. And rather than just being like, I shouldn't be jealous of people, that's wrong. It's more like, oh, if I'm jealous of this person being able to do this thing, what's something I can do? And it's usually, jealousy is actually like really informative.
It's because like replacement. It's replacement
therapy.
I was gonna say replacement therapy.
Whatever the fuck that is.
Whatever that. I was gonna say therapy, and then you just put the word out, and I was like, "Yup, that's it."
You know what? I'm a therapist.
I don't know what the fuck replacement therapy is, but that's it. Whatever.
Gemini and Uranus, or Uranus and Gemini, replacement therapy.
Replacement therapy, but whatever. But is that?
It's a Black Mirror episode, everybody. All you gotta do is just change the peg.
Right, change the peg, but whatever, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and those are all skills, and at the end of the day, our thoughts are just thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, thoughts are not Thoughts are not who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that when I was younger, I don't know if you have this experience, but when I was younger, I would have a lot of thoughts and I'd be like, this is the truth.
Oh, for sure.
Instead of being like, that's a thought.
Well, it was hard for me to separate myself from my thoughts. And it's taken a lot of practice to get to a place where I can go, oh, that's just a thought. And that's actually not the truth.
Yeah. And I do like to start my classes out with, or meditations, just being like, let your mind be open for a while. What thoughts are what thoughts are popping off?
Yeah.
And rather than us having to go, let me control my thinking or
Straight to that. Yeah.
Don't go straight there.
Yeah.
Just kind of like let it air out. You know, it's like you're in a stuffy house. You got to open up a window.
Yeah.
And let those thoughts go. So I think I like to make sure to remind people that when we're talking about this Mano Maya Kosha, it's not like you have to have this pure mind all the time.
Yeah,
it's just
no.
that we just gotta, maybe just awareness.
Yeah, the awareness. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Another one that I just want to throw in that can help with, I think, with Prana Maya Kosha and Mano Maya Kosha is chanting. Just for my people who like to chant. You know, I'm not a big chanter, but for my people who like to chant, go for it. I don't know what that accent is.
That was Billy from the Bronx coming at ya.
Anyway, so moving on.
No, I will second that. Last week, for Cancer season, I've been using mantra. For meditation, very simple. Either so hum, which is I am. We've been using the Bija mantra for second chakra, which is Vam, V-A-M, and there's a seed mantra for each chakra center. And I like to think about mantra as like a way to kind of like you're diving into it and letting it fill you and surround you, which is really cleansing because we're working on Saucha right now in my classes.
Yeah.
Not to get too everybody, but it's all connected.
You're very cute today. Okay, next one. Vijnana Maya Kosha, the wisdom intuitive sheath. This layer is associated with wisdom, intuition, and discernment. It involves the ability to make conscious choices and understand deeper truths.
Third eye.
Yeah.
Gut,
third eye.
I taught this kosha this week.
Oh, okay.
This is what my
Tell us about it. Well, tell us about it.
I was like, let's
school us.
Well, because we were going into retrograde, I was like, let's tap into. We went through the layers and got here. And I was like, what's the part of you that just knows? Because at the end of the day, don't we all have a part of us that just knows? Like, that you're supposed to leave that relationship, or that you shouldn't take that chaturanga right now, or like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't eat that ice cream before 9 or after 9 p.m. Or you're going to turn into a gremlin.
Pumpkin.
Honestly, John and I were talking about going on a Jenny's date to get ice cream. And we planned it out for tonight, but we thought we'd do it early. We were like, okay, let's do it at like 5 p.m. after the podcast.
Yeah.
And we planned it 3 days ago.
We planned it 3 days ago.
We're only getting one scoop each.
Then we're going to have to eat a meal first.
That feels very responsible.
Anyway, that's all just to say, what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think that in order for us to get to the layer of knowing.
Yeah.
When we talk about these layers, we're working from the outside in and we're working from the inside out. Just like chakra systems are not just like dirt, it's
a flow.
All
it's
flowing.
A flow. Yeah.
We know what we need to nourish our body. We know when our energy is off. And we probably know what we need.
Yeah.
And so my class was like, give yourself what you need today. What is it that you really need?
Yeah. A way to really kind of just tap into this particular sheath or this particular kosha is just a practice of trusting oneself,
Which feels very Leo.
Which feels very, very Leo.
I think that self-trust is something that a Leo has. They're and when they're standing in that self-trust, it makes everything kind of clearer.
I think I was teaching this last week as well. I was teaching intuition last week as well. And, I was just saying we live in a culture that teaches us to constantly question ourselves. That is always challenging us. Like, are you sure that's the right answer? Google it. Are you sure that's what you want? That's what you should do? Maybe you should ask somebody else. Maybe you should see a professional and make sure that that's right. And it's like, if you have an individual thought, it's like, does it go along with what the collective thinks? That might not be right. You shouldn't be an individual. We should all stand in line, go in line, get in line. And it's kind of teaching us that, like, to question ourselves and to question, like, what our intuition is telling us. And it's just, slowly eroding at this particular kosha, our inner wisdom, our inner voice that we know. And so it becomes smaller and quieter and quieter.
Wow.
And so what I'm practicing is that when I hear something, to be quiet. One, to try to be quiet.
And listen.
Because I have a lot of thoughts inside my head that are very loud, but a lot of times those thoughts are not me. It's thoughts that just regurgitating the voices that I hear from outside of self.
Yeah, totally.
So being quiet so I can really hear that voice that's internal, that inner voice, that's my inner wisdom, and then following it. And going, you know what? If it's wrong, I'll just have to learn.
I sort of feel like this new moon in Leo is a time to get quiet enough to listen to that kosha. It's sort of like the time to listen to what we know is the truth. It'd be interesting to think about as just a reflection for people, because I don't remember who asked me this before, but somebody asked me this. When you're making a decision about something or you're trying to figure something out, how many people do you ask their opinion?
Oh shit, that's so good.
I don't remember who said that to me or whatever it was, but that really stuck with me. So sorry, I can't give a shout out. But the thing is just to kind of reflect what you were saying about having all the noise from all these other people, or, double check. Are you sure that's what you want? It's like, no, the gut is real. And we are sort of in a world right now that I think doesn't want people to have that individual thought and, sort of even rebellious thought of any kind. And so it is kind of dumbing down our ability to connect to our own inner wisdom. And so it's like, how often are we not trusting ourselves? How often are we asking everybody else an opinion about something? I've done that before. I'll ask like 5 people.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what happens?
You just get more confused.
Yeah. You just get more confused. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you just get more confused. And then you end up maybe doing something that like maybe ends up working out, or then you do it and then you're still questioning if you should have done it the other way.
Yeah. And it's like, look, there's so many different options in the world of how we're going to do something. There's infinite choices and possibilities. It can be so overwhelming. And I think that there's a lot of fear, which fear is the opposite of love, right? And so it's like, have you ever heard the phrase, move the way like love makes you move, don't move in fear? Don't make choices out of fear.
Yeah.
Right? Like those two things, you're still making a choice, but the energetic quality of both of them are so different.
Yeah.
So if I'm making a choice out of sureness, out of trust, out of love, all those things, rather than, well, I don't want to fuck this up, so I'm making this choice.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, wouldn't we rather make the choice out of our own trust and wisdom?
Which leads us to our final kosha, honestly, beautifully. The Anandamaya kosha, which is the bliss body, the bliss spiritual sheath, the innermost layer, representing pure bliss, joy, connected to the divine. It is the source of inner peace and spiritual awakening.
It's the deepest layer.
It's the deepest layer, yeah.
When I was talking about it, I was talking about how we all have, we all have all these layers, right? But at the center of everything, joy and peace is actually what's right here at our center.
At our core.
And it's inherent.
Yeah. It's inherent, and it's our right.
It's our right.
Yeah.
And I think that in order sometimes for us to get to that layer, it's like we have to allow ourselves enough peace and quiet to cut out all the noise to get there. And how do we get there, right? How do we do it? How do we connect to the layer? And I think what yoga does so beautifully is that it takes us through all these layers through an asana practice, quite literally. I mean, that's why, teachers are always saying, we do all these poses just to get us to a place where we can sit and meditate.
Yeah.
Or we can lay down in corpse pose and be still. Because once we have that stillness, we might be able to feel into that bliss layer.
Yeah. And I really think of, coming back to the astrology with the Leo sun and the Leo moon, and even with Mercury retrograde in Leo, which is asking us to slow down and to pay attention and to reflect and to review and to be still in the sign of Leo. Right? So with all of this Leo energy, which says, hey, love yourself, but love yourself, capital S. Not lowercase s, not the outer layer of the self. That's superficial. So with the sun in Leo, the moon in Leo, and Mercury retrograde in Leo, inviting us to reflect, to slow down, to take a pause, to really review in the sign of Leo, it's allowing us to really come back to self, but not the superficial self. Not the lowercase s self, the uppercase s self, right? And it's okay to connect to the exterior of self.
Yeah, it's good to be I look fine.
Oh, I look good. You know what I mean?
I like my outfit.
It's okay to be I look good.
Yeah.
But it's really allowing us to and inviting us and encouraging us to connect with the core of who we are. Which is
deepest layer.
Yes, that deepest layer. And to just lay out, take up space, lay out full, shape of a star.
And
under
shine.
the sun.
Yeah.
And soak up the warmth of the sun and just shine and just be there.
Yeah, and let your inner light shine out for everybody to see.
I wrote, we have an opportunity to lay in the sun and truly penetrate the layers of our being to get more clear on who we truly are, which is joy.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for that Leo perspective. Thank you, everybody, for listening. That is our new moon in Leo episode 12. We have one more episode after this in our season.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've gotten through 12 episodes. That's
12.
Wild.
Yeah.
And thank you all so much for listening and subscribing. Make sure that you tune in to our Substack. We have journal prompts. We have a really bomb-ass playlist. And if you're on the Substack, you'll never miss an episode because, Instagram is weird.
Yeah, it is.
We're on there, but I don't think it shows us. And we want to be seen. It's Leo season.
We want to be seen.
We want to be seen, and I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, just subscribe and tell your friends, share. So if you know anybody who is interested in astrology, in yoga, who, you think might love our Romy and Michelle outfits, really.
We invented the Post-it. Do you have any businesswoman specials?
Please send them our way or send us their way. And
just connection.
Go
because we love you.
Oh, that's not the kid. This is very millennial way to do the heart. I think the kids do the hearts different ways now.
No,
But
you gotta do it where you each do half and you make it. There you go.
Half makes a whole.
no, look at this kid.
Oh, this one. The Universe Called Podcast with Natalie Burtney and Courtney Sauls. Filming and editing by John Meyer. Theme music by Chit Cray, Studio Inertia. Special thanks to Donna and Robbie Falks.